Welcome back, everybody, to episode 27 of the CG Sports Podcast. Today, we're going to be going over my NFL, NFC, and AFC championship round predictions. Obviously, this is the last week we're going to have before the Super Bowl, so there's only going to be 2 games. So this is definitely going to be a quicker episode, but let's just get straight into it. So we're going to start off with the earlier game, which is going to be the NFC Championship between the Bucs and the Packers. The Bucs, of course, beat the Saints last week in a really close game, and the Packers took down the Rams with ease. Both teams don't have any super major injuries, so this should be a good one. I know in a couple other games, there was some players that were hurt, and it kind of, gave you that what-if scenario. We're not going to have that. We're going to have a pure Brady versus Rodgers scenario. This is obviously the first time they're ever playing in a playoff matchup, so this is going to be a good one. For the Packers, we can obviously expect another heavy passing attack. It worked for them last week. I'd expect it again here. Look for a lot of drag routes, out routes, and corner routes. That seems to be what they like the most. They also like to run a lot of passes to their tight ends. And we can also expect the occasional screen pass to either Aaron Jones or one of their faster receivers Marquez Valdes-Scantling or one of those other guys, Alan Lazard, one of those quicker dudes. On defense for the Packers, I'd expect a lot of zone coverage. That's usually what we see them in the most. But you can expect the occasional linebacker blitz. Zadarius Smith, he can blitz from time to time, but he's also a really good coverage guy. They have a lot of versatility in that linebacking core where they could kind of do a little bit of everything. For the Bucs, we can expect a pretty balanced offense from them. Their running backs, of course, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, are both great at playing out of the backfield. They're guys who can run the ball up the middle, run the ball outside, but they can also catch out of the backfield pretty well. And if they make one quick move, they can be gone. So that's always going to be good for them. I'd look for a lot of checkdowns from Tampa Bay with the occasional deep shot. I'd also expect a lot of cross routes and throws towards the sidelines. We see a lot of that from Brady. They like to throw towards the sidelines. Brady will roll out sometimes. And just routes that go towards the sideline in general. So, out routes, corner routes, crosser routes, post routes even sometimes. Like I said, they like to take that occasional deep shot. And then for the Bucs on defense, I definitely expect a mostly zone look. That's usually what we get out of them. But they do run man-to-man occasionally, and obviously every team's going to blitz. But I'd expect some of their playmakers, of course, Devin White. He had an interception last week and a fumble recovery. Huge game for him. Shaquille Barrett, another linebacker. Both those guys, pretty big playmakers. I'd expect them to have a big impact in this game. For the Packers, I think Aaron Rodgers throws 2 touchdowns. Aaron Jones going to rush in 1, but I think Brady gets the best of them here. Tom Brady throwing 2 touchdowns in this game, and the dual running backs, Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, both getting a rushing touchdown. The Bucs win this game in a very close one, 34-30. And now for our final game. I know it's 2 games. It's weird, but this is going to be our AFC Championship game between the Bills and the Chiefs. So the Bills obviously easily beat out the Ravens last week, only gave up 3 points, a really solid defensive performance from them. And the Chiefs are coming off a close win over the Browns. Chiefs running back Le'Veon Bell is questionable with a knee injury. He is listed as unlikely, and I'm honestly just not expecting him to play. Same result here for Chiefs wide receiver Sammy Watkins. He's questionable with a calf injury. Coach Andy Reid called him a long shot to play, so I don't think he'll play either. And finally, Chiefs running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire is also questionable with an ankle injury. We haven't seen him play since Week 15. Coach Andy Reid says he should be good to go today, so we can't be expecting him back. And he should pick up for a lot of what will be lost by Le'Veon Bell not playing. And, of course, the big story coming into this game has been Patrick Mahomes. He, of course, got injured last week in their game against the Browns in the divisional. He has passed the concussion protocol, and he will be good to go for this game. For the Bills, I think we can expect another heavy passing attack like we saw last week. I'm expecting Devin Singletary to be a problem. We've been saying this for weeks now. He's a phenomenal runner and a great receiver out of the backfield. He could do it all, and he's elite with both. So that'll be very helpful for them. Look for the Bills to take a deep shot early on. We spoke about it last week, and they actually ended up doing it. I think they threw a deep shot. I believe it was to Stephon Diggs. If not, it might have been Cole Beasley. But one of those guys ran a post route early in the game, and Josh Allen threw a deep shot. Obviously, it wasn't complete, but I was right. They do like to take deep shots early on. I'd also expect a lot of curl routes, drag routes, out routes. They like to run a lot of throws underneath the coverage and let their guys turn upfield as they have some quicker Receivers, of course, the tight end Dawson Knox been a phenomenal receiver for them all season as well. Look for those guys to play underneath the coverage, make some receptions, and try to cut off field. On defense, I'd be looking for a lot of zone coverages from the Bills. A lot of teams in the league run primarily zone. The Bills, another one of those teams. But I'd look for the linebacker Matt Milano to have a big impact. He had a big impact last week in zone coverage. And then obviously when he's blitzing at the QB, I'd expect to see more of that on Sunday. He should have a pretty big impact. For the Chiefs offense, we can, of course, expect a heavy passing attack as well, but do not sleep on the Chiefs' run game as Clyde Edwards-Helaire is returning, and he's a phenomenal runner. We can expect a similar approach to last week, a lot of crosser routes and post routes and some underneath throws to either Travis Kelce or one of their running backs. They usually stick to a pretty similar offense, but do not sleep on Mahomes' ability to roll out in the pocket and use his legs if he has to. We know he can do that. So I'd look for him to maybe go to that if the Bills are really locking him up. We'll see how that goes. For the Chiefs on defense, though, they as well run heavy zone coverage, but they do switch to man-to-man occasionally. They have one of the quicker secondaries in the league, so they can take that risk of putting their guys in press coverage man-to-man, but it might be a bit different here as, you know, the Bills have some speedy receivers too in Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, John Brown. All those guys have a lot of speed, and I'd expect a lot more zone than we normally get and a lot less man coverage. You don't want to risk that, especially with these guys. They're fast. Both teams really having really quick receivers, so I wouldn't expect too much one-on-one coverage. I'm expecting a really close game here. Of course, two young quarterbacks in Mahomes and Josh Allen. Probably the future of the NFL when it comes to the quarterback position. I think both Devin Singletary and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are going to rush for a touchdown in this game. Both Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen throwing for 2 touchdowns. And I think this game really comes down to the final couple minutes. But I think the Chiefs are going to be able to go on a game-winning drive and win on a Harrison Butker field goal. Chiefs move on. They head to the Super Bowl. And according to my prediction, they go to play the Bucs. And the Chiefs win this one 27-24. So that's going to do it for our championship round predictions. I appreciate all you guys tuning in and listening. Make sure you guys follow up my Twitch. We're doing daily Madden commentaries, doing some gaming content, all that good stuff. I'll leave all the other socials in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.